President Trump says Iran must take this last chance for a deal or face aggressive military action again. There's a little bit of a pause now in that massive wave of airstrikes against the radical Islamic regime over the weekend to allow for more negotiation.
They said, we want to talk. We want to talk about the strait, but more importantly, from my standpoint, we want to talk about the denuclearization of Iran, because it's what it's all about. This is why I'm doing this. And it should have been done. This is the last chance. This is not something that, if it doesn't happen, this is the last chance for them to sign a good document.
There's so much unspoken there. To sign a, as he looks off to the side, good document. I want to know. I want to go deeper with the president there and see what he's thinking. Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy has the latest on this. Peter, he is walking out diplomacy again.
Yes, and Harris, as we piece this together, it seems like these are the rare peace talks without much talking.
President Trump last week threatened what would have been one of the largest military campaigns, or the largest military campaign since World War II, against the Iranians. And now we are, because of that, we are in talks with the Iranians. And I think there is a chance we may have a deal today or tomorrow to open the strait.
Iran's foreign ministry spokesman says we are not currently holding negotiations with the United States, but the president says they are lying. On Truth Social, Iranian leadership is unbelievably duplicitous. They ask for a meeting, some would say beg. Talks begin with more scheduled in the immediate future, and they say openly and proudly that they're not having any discussions, that nothing is being talked about, that they're only dealing with Oman. And that is why this is apparently Iran's last chance.
I want to give them every last chance before decapitation. Very tough to do what we have planned, still planned. We'll see what happens. But it's a very, very tough thing to do. I think I'm very proud of the fact that I'll give people a chance. This is a big move. To do an attack that big on a country.
There's a new Reuters report out this morning that reveals the United States has used virtually all of their precision surface-to-surface missiles during the 6-month conflict with Iran. So if the president decides to go for this decapitation strike, he's going to have to use something else. Harris.
All right, Peter, thank you very much. I want to bring in former Vice President Mike Pence, actually, just his words shared how he thinks his former boss, Donald Trump, should handle Iran. Watch this.
But I honestly think that the time has come for the President of the United States to unleash the armed forces of the United States, strike the remaining nuclear facilities in Iran, take down and degrade their ability to project force, not only in the Strait, but across the region. Look, one does not make peace with one's enemy. One makes peace with one's defeated enemy.
In focus now, Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, former special envoy to Ukraine and Russia and American security co-chair for the America First Policy Institute. Great to have you. First of all, your reaction to what the former vice president just said. Just go in and get it done, basically.
Thanks, Harris. Good to be with you. Look, he's right. You know, there's an old military axiom: in war, mistakes made by kindness are the worst, and you don't want to go there. You want to close the deal. You know, we keep letting them off the hook. Look, they keep talking about moderates in Iran. You know, a moderate in Iran, to me, that's the guy who goes to a public execution of a protester but misses the elite cocktail party afterwards. I don't think there's any there. They're just trying to play this out. I think it's a mistake. I think it's like in a sports game. You go into halftime and you kind of reset the battlefield, what you're going to do. And I think that's what we probably need to do. What's our most important thing? And the president's right about that. It's enriched uranium. We do not need them to be a nuclear power. We need to push that thing down the road a long, long time. Poe allowed that to happen by 2030. This president has not let that happen. But I think what Vice President Pence said a minute ago is applying full power of the United States, militarily, she was talking about, but also economically and then diplomatically as well. And then you can really shut these guys off. You can make them become isolated. And that's what you want to do. Isolate the entire country.
Retired Navy fighter pilot, Top Gun Matthew Wiz Buckley was in focus yesterday, giving his thoughts, his insight and experience into the Strait of Hormuz. Let's watch.
I sailed through the Strait of Hormuz a bunch of times on a couple aircraft carriers, and Oman's on the left side, right? If they want to do some sort of, Garden State Parkway or Sopranos, it's going to be the Iranian on the right and Oman on the left. So they're going to try and join forces there. But the president has said repeatedly that's simply not going to happen. We're not going to allow that either. So Oman, it's like many of the regions or countries in the region, they kind of smile and tell us one thing, and behind our backs they're doing something else. So we got to keep an eye on the Omanis.
Lieutenant General Kellogg, your thoughts on that?
Well, he's kind of right about that, is where he's going. But again, I go back to what I said a minute ago. Our initial reason for going there was to eliminate their enriched uranium and to get control of that or destroy it. That's what we need to kind of rethink. We need to go back there and do it. The president had it right. And by the way, Harris, he wasn't talking about today's generation. He was talking about the future generation. He was talking about our kids and our grandkids. And I think if the American people understand that, they're going to rally to his side really hard. You can get some of those polls. You're always going to get bad polls from people who just really don't understand it. But I think we just need to keep the pressure on, reset the fight, get a good idea of what we're doing, and understand that in war, mistakes made by kindness are the worst kind to make. And we just have to finish the deal, close it out.
Yeah, as we watch this, and your line is so important about those mistakes, and you may be trying to do the right thing, and it doesn't turn out the way you wanted. But the president gets a lot of credit for hitting pause and diplomacy at a time when we could go in and decimate them. And he's trying to walk a thin line right now. He says this is the last chance we're covering it. I'm so happy you were my guest. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.